Hi, hello, what's up? I haven't seen you guys in a really long time and I am so sorry, but we're back with the videos. So, one of my most requested videos has, off of like Instagram and stuff like that, has been, I apologize for my voice, I'm really sick right now. But anyway, back on topic. My most requested video has been how to count macros, and I realized that a lot of people hear this like counting macros term, they don't know how to do it, they get online, find a calculator. Who knows if that calculator is accurate or not? There are a lot online that are not accurate. And so I thought that I would do a step-by-step video today for you guys on how to count macros and calculate them yourself. And then like how to gauge them for whatever your goals are. So let's get into it. First of all, I have my notes here. I actually did research, so by the way, any evidence that I used for this will be linked down below. Any videos I do like this, like I will show my evidence because I don't want you guys thinking that I'm just providing you with some BS. I want this to be helpful to you, not hurtful. So let's start off with what is a macro. So I know that this term, there's two parties in the fitness industry, I guess, when it comes to food tracking. Well, actually there's three, but we're just gonna count the two. Is counting calories over here and counting macros. And a lot of people don't know what the difference is, so today I'm going to explain that for you. So when you count calories, you're just saying the amount of energy in equals the amount of energy out. So I'm just gonna, because calories are energy for your body, so I'm just gonna put calories in, which is whatever your food is that you're eating, and then my body's gonna use that for energy. The problem is the type of calories that you're putting in actually matter, and a lot of people don't know that, and I'm gonna get into what macros are and how they specifically help your body. But a lot of people will just eat a bunch of calories and expect weight gain, which, I mean, you will gain weight, but it might not be muscle gain, it might not be exactly what you're looking for. So what is a macro, or what are macros? So you have micronutrients and macronutrients. Micronutrients are going to be your vitamins and minerals, so whenever you hear somebody say micronutrients, that's what they're talking about. A macronutrient, you have three types: your fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. So the first one is that I'm going to explain is fat. So your fats, the conversion is 1 gram of fat is equal to 9 calories. So it's the most calorie dense macro. What is fat used for? A lot of people don't even know what fat, carbs, or proteins are used for, so I kind of wanted to go into that today. So your fats are, number one, your energy reserve. So that's what's going to be your stored up energy. Second, it protects your vital organs. It's insulation, and it transports your fat soluble vitamins. So if you aren't eating any fats at all, you're going to be lacking in these areas. Your energy reserve is going to be down, you're not protecting your organs, and you're not able to transport your fat soluble vitamins as well. So when we talk about the calorie camp versus the macro tracking camp, if you're counting calories and you're not eating any fats, you could actually be harming yourself in the long run and not even realize it. So next thing we want to cover is carbs. A lot of people think that carbs are the devil. That is like a huge stigma in the fitness industry, is that carbs are bad. Well, let me tell you, carbs are not bad. Carbs fuel your high intensity exercise. So whenever you're doing high intensity exercise, that's when carbs are being used as an energy source. On top of that, carbs are used instead of protein as energy. So if you're trying to gain muscle, you want to be eating carbs because that's what's going to be used as energy instead of your muscle and your protein. Hopefully that's making sense. So during exercise, if you've been eating carbs, that will be used as your energy source. So it spares the protein to prevent muscle loss, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. And then number three, it's fuel for your brain. Carbs, literally straight up, they fuel your brain. So if you've ever been a competitor, or if you've ever been on a low carb diet and you've had zero energy and you're not thinking straight, that's why, because carbs are literally your brain's your brain's fuel source. So eat your carbs. We're gonna get into that in a second. Okay, proteins. What do proteins do? Protein is your tissue structure. So your muscle, your hair, skin, nails, blood plasma, like everything is made up of proteins. So it's super important. Your bones. So being on a low protein diet is, yikes, not good. It's part of your cell plasma membranes. It's involved in the metabolic, transport, and hormone systems. So if you're not eating enough protein, you could see issues with your hormones. A lot of that comes through as like, you know, you just don't feel right, or maybe you're a little bit anxious, a little bit depressed, like something like that. A lot of times it can have to do with your eating and how you're eating. So we'll get into that in a little bit. It also makes up the enzymes that regulate your metabolism. So if you're not eating enough protein, you're not getting those enzymes that are regulating your metabolism as much. And so when you're on a higher protein diet, you can have a higher metabolism. So that's definitely important. Okay, so now we're going to talk about how do we actually count the macros. So we know what they are. We've explained like, okay, here's their jobs, here's what we do. And hopefully you guys can kind of see now why there's an advantage to tracking macros instead of just tracking calories, because you're actually figuring out like what you're putting into your body and its job when you put it into your body. So step number 1 is to calculate your TDEE. That stands for total daily energy expenditure. And pretty much what that means in non-scientific terms is how many calories does your body burn in a day. So I've linked the website below, but we're going to use, for the purposes of this, my TDEE, you need to go calculate it. Like please, please, please. We're gonna use me as an example so I can show you guys the math, but please do not use my numbers. They won't work for you. Like it's for my body. You gotta calculate it for your body. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do that, and we will go from there. So my TDEE from that website is 2,000, I wish I could speak sometimes, 2,643 calories. That is what my body requires for maintenance. That is what I burn in a day with my activity levels. Be honest with yourself on the activity level, because if you lie about that, or like if you think you're more active than you are, it's going to give you a higher number than you actually need. So really be honest with yourself about that one. Okay, so we have our TDEE. On that website, you will see where it suggests calories for dropping 2 pounds per week, like 1 pound per week, 2 pounds per week. Healthy weight loss and maintainable weight loss, I'm just gonna put this out there right now, is 0.5 pounds to 1 pound per week. If you are losing 2 pounds plus per week over a long period of time, that's not healthy and it's not maintainable. So that is what is recommended. So now you have to ask yourself, what are your goals? Are you trying to maintain weight? Are you trying to gain weight? Are you trying to lose weight? So if you are trying to lose weight, it's recommended that you reduce those calories, the TDEE, by no more than 20%. So for somebody that is just starting out with counting macros, just starting out with their weight loss journey, I would recommend 10%. Just reduce it by 10%, because incorporating tracking your food and monitoring, if you've been eating way above your TDEE and you're having to bring those calories down, it's gonna be a shock to your body. So I recommend easing yourself into it. Once you do that 10%, if you're seeing good results, or if you're seeing progress but you want to see a little bit more progress, you can bring that down to 20%. So you take that, we're going to use my numbers for example now, okay? So mine was 2,643, so I would multiply that times 0.2, and then I would reduce it by that number, and I'll show the math up here on the screen, okay? So that is for weight loss. If I want to do weight gain, then I need to increase by no more than 20%. So for my people out there who are trying to bulk, if you are a genetically skinny person, I would bump that up to 20% because you're gonna need to be eating a lot of food, because it sounds like you already have a high metabolism. If you're just trying to go through a bulk, again, I would just bump it up by 10%, see how you're doing. If you wanna start incorporating more food in, great. But I'm just gonna say this right now. There is no cookie cutter way to predict how your body will respond to food. Everybody's body is different. So with that being said, you're gonna have to play with this a little bit. And if you start, once we set up your macros, if you start eating this and you're like, I have zero energy, I feel like crap, blah, 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 start adjusting things, especially your carbs and fats. Some people's bodies respond to fat better than they respond to carbs. Some people's body respond to carbs better than they respond to fat. I am a carb person. My body, my muscles, everything, I have so much energy when I eat carbs. If I am on a high fat diet, I am a monster. I am grumpy, I have zero energy, I feel sick. So I know what works for me. You gotta find what works for you. I'm just gonna preface this and just put that out there right now, okay? So just play with it. Be patient and be consistent. So let's get into like actually calculating your macros. Okay, so for the purpose of this, I calculated my maintenance macros. If you want to calculate your weight loss macros or your weight gain macros, all you do is take that TDEE number that we calculated, that 2643 for me, and we'll reduce it by that 20%, right? And then follow through all the calculations that we're gonna do, okay? So instead of using that 2643, I would use whatever, I think it was like 2100 or something like that. So that would be the calorie number that we carried through these calculations. So just preface. Okay, so I like to start with protein first. I'm gonna explain to you how many grams of protein you should be eating based on your activity levels. I'm gonna put it up on the screen right here, but I'm just gonna explain it with words. So if you're a sedentary individual, meaning you do not work out, you are not active, then you should be eating 0.36 grams per pound of body weight, okay? If you are recreationally active, which means, you know, you exercise a little bit here and there, you play some sports, blah, 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 like lightly, okay? 0.45 to 0.68 grams of protein per pound of body weight. If you are a competitive athlete, which means you're competing in something, this is not bodybuilding, this is just competitive athlete, then you should be eating 0.54 to 0.82 grams of protein per pound of body weight. If you are a teenage athlete, our teenagers need a little bit more oomph because they're growing and they need that extra protein, so 0.82 to 0.91 grams per pound of body weight. If you are a bodybuilder, depending on what you're doing, 0.64 to 0.91 grams per pound of body weight. The maximum amount of protein that the body can utilize is 0.91 grams per pound of body weight. There is a huge stigma in the fitness industry that you should have 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. It's not true. Okay, there is a lot of scientific evidence. You can look it up online. I'll link some stuff below. You're only supposed to have the numbers that I just listed out. If you eat more than that, number one, your body's not going to be able to absorb all of it and utilize all of it, but you're going to start seeing problems, specifically digestive problems, constipation, diarrhea, because your body's not meant to handle all of that. And remember how we talked about how protein affects your hormones, your metabolism. If you're oversaturating it, you're going to start seeing problems with your body. So for myself, I do not like a heavy protein diet because, like, for me personally, because I've played with it. Like I told you guys, if I eat too much protein, I see digestive issues. So for myself, I use 0.7 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So for that, I weigh 155 pounds, 0.7 times 155 is 108.5 grams of protein. It's So there are my protein macros, okay? We're gonna convert that to calories in a little bit, and I'm gonna show you guys, because remember that protein, 1 gram of protein is equal to 4 grams, 1 gram of protein is equal to 4 calories, okay? So we'll do that multiplication in a little bit, but we're gonna move on to carbs next. I like doing fats last because you use whatever is left over for fats, but we'll get there in a second. Okay, so for carbs, our sedentary individuals, 40 to 50% of your calories should be used. For our people that exercise regularly, 60% of your calories should be carbs. If you're an athlete, 70% of your calories should be carbs. So for this, I said that I was in the exercise regularly category. More likely I'm in the athlete category, but I didn't say that, so I just ran with the exercise regularly one. So I multiplied 0.6 times 2,643, and that gave me 1,585.8 calories for carbs. So I take that number, 1,585.8, divide by 4, that gives me my grams, which is 396.45, or 396 grams of carbs, okay? So we got our protein, which was 108.5 grams of protein. We've got our carbs, which was 396 grams of carbs. So how do we calculate our fat? So fat is recommended that you do 20 to 35%, so you have a little bit of leeway depending on how you feel. But because we've already calculated our proteins and our carbs, we can convert those numbers to calories and subtract them from the original TDEE number, okay? And then the leftover will be our fat. So when we convert 108.5 grams of protein to calories, it's 108.5 times 4, so that gives me 434 calories, okay? With carbs, I had 396 grams of carbs times 4. That's gonna give me my 1,585.8-ish calories, okay? So we're gonna add those two up, calories of protein, calories of carbs. That's gonna give us 2019 approximately, okay? So we subtract 2,643 minus 2019. That's gonna give us 623 calories left over for fat. So we take that 623, divide by 9, that's gonna give us 69 grams of fat. So my ultimate macros for maintenance are 108.5 grams of protein, 396 grams of carbs, and 69 grams of fat. Now, I will just say right now that that fat number is high for me. I never eat 70 grams of fat. Like, I'm lucky if I get like 30 grams of fat in a day, just because my body does not respond super well to high amounts of fat. I just eat like the amount that's necessary for me. So again, play with it, try it out. If you have questions about any of this stuff, leave them down below. I also have my social media below, my email. Shoot me an email. Happy to explain anything you don't understand. The websites that I used are all going to be linked below. Please, if you liked this video, like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. I realize I'm getting back into YouTube, but I'm hoping to provide more informational videos for you guys. So if you have videos that you would like to see, please comment below. Let me know what else you would like to know. Anything fitness related, life related, whatever it is, just let me know. One last thing that I forgot to add is that you can use apps to track your food and to track your macros. The best one that I've come across is MyFitnessPal. You can put in your percentages and everything, and it will help you track your macros. Don't pay attention to the calorie counter thing it has, just pay attention to how many macros you eat in a day, and that's a really, really easy and simple way to count your macros. So just wanted to throw that in there. If you're interested in online coaching, meal planning, like help with your macros and having me for a coach, personal training, anything like that, shoot me an email below. I offer really cheap services for that because I love helping you guys out. If you want free shipping on anything First Form, I am a brand ambassador for them and I absolutely love their products. Their protein is delicious. So if you're interested in anything like that, free shipping with my link down below. Follow me on social media at the Lifting Llama. That's my Twitter and my Instagram. So yeah, I hope to connect with you guys more, and I love you guys so much, and I hope you have a great day.